Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, I should say, or good evening, depending on where you are. This is Justin Roberti. Very pleased to have everyone join me today. We're going to be talking about GameFi in 2024, the trends that are affecting it, account abstraction, things that are going to, what's going to help this become a mainstream phenomenon. That's where, if it's going to come from anywhere, I would be not at all surprised to see mainstreaming come from GameFi after all. So it's a matter of what is it going to take to make that happen. So I have a number of people coming on who are going to be speakers. I'll go ahead and send you speaker requests if you'd like to come on. And we are so thrilled to have you all here with us today. There we go. So if you're on the list I have in front of you, go ahead and raise your hand if I haven't sent you a speaker request, and I will go ahead and try and tap the ones that I already know about. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and start with Gyro Blade. Gyro, why don't you come on and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Hey, Justin. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Glad to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the product lead over at PlayFi, and I'm from a video game development background. It's a bit about myself. I live in New York City. And at PlayFi, we are building a solution to the problem of games data availability. So basically, right now you have all these big video games. We're talking Web 2, Web 3, everything from Nintendo to Axie Infinity. And everybody has their own way of storing data and giving API access and allowing people to build on top of it. And at PlayFi, what we're building is this sort of two-part system, which combines a really modern blockchain element with a really modern data storage and processing element. So we can basically, in short, take in game data from, let's say, Call of Duty or Counter-Strike or Rocket League, process it through our AI system and turn it into this really nicely formatted text packet that people can then store on our decentralized network and build cool stuff on top of, like predictions markets and stat tracking and tournaments. So yeah, we're focused on getting big games across Web 2 and Web 3 and letting people build cool stuff on top of them.
Okay, very cool. Good explanation. Glad to have you on, Gyro. Scale, let's go over to you. I think you're also kind of an enabling platform. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, and Justin, thanks for having us on.
Good to have you.
Scale is a EVM compatible layer 2 scaling solution that is entirely gas free. So essentially, what that means is Scale is built with the end user in mind. The goal is for projects to be able to build on top of Scale, um, get all of the benefits of blockchain technology without any of the friction that comes with blockchain technology and onboarding users. So right now, the focus of Scale, working with a lot of gaming projects to onboard users, get them playing the games, get them excited, get them educated about Web3, about the different Web3 elements, let them know it's not so scary as it seems. And we've been pretty successful at that. The tune of roughly around 2 million users each day are interacting with different games that are on the Scale network. So projects ranging from your first-person shooter, third-person shooter games to your hyper-casual mobile games, and then not even diving into kind of like your fan engagement platforms that are also being built out to bring awareness, bring that immutability of blockchain to the end user.
Right,
Apologies
right.
there. Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's allergy season here in eastern Pennsylvania. I'm having the same problem all the time. Got to take a Zyrtec every day. But welcome. Glad to have you on, Scale. Glad to have you here. Let's go over to Rebecca. Rebecca, pleased to have you on. Please tell us a little bit about what you do.
Hey, Justin. Thanks so much for having me on. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining today. Founder and CEO, we are a new layer one, but we are layer one specifically to launch layer ones. So everyone who builds on Saga is by definition on their own fully decentralized proof of stake chain, which we call a chainlet. And you can have as many of these as you like supporting your application. So we scale elastically. We think of a chain in the same way that most people think of cloud servers or instances. All of our chainlets speak to one another. This is what allows that kind of infinite horizontal scaling that we're known for. And of course, with that kind of infrastructure, we are very much focused on gaming and entertainment. That is our primary use case. Our Saga Innovator Program is our ecosystem program, and it currently has 360 projects in it. 80% of that is gaming. About 10% of it is more pure NFT, like art, music, digital collectibles, and then the remaining 10% is in DeFi, although that category is beginning to grow a lot more. Unfortunately, the degens have not forgotten that we are a general purpose layer one, and so more and more DeFi is coming on board. But yeah, that is the long and short of what we do. We do have some key flagship partners in Polygon. We automate their CDK chains. Avalanche, we automate their subnets. Celestia, we automate the instantiation of decentralized rollups for them. And then gaming chains like Expla, which is the Come To Us chain, MarbleX, which is a Netmarble chain, Forte Clayton. We can also have them shard games onto Saga. And they would just be sending the games onto our chainlets so that they can actually expand their own block space. We are completely gasless on the front end. So that means you can use any token you like to pay for gas, or you can have no gas at all. The Saga token really shows up on the back end to allow developers to pay the validators to keep their chainlets alive.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's what we do.
So,
Thanks for having me.
So the Saga token is working like a GameFi token is in kind of like gambling related gaming. It's or like a Mega Dice token. It's like kind of a cross platform GameFi token. Is that correct?
So Saga token, first and foremost, is used as a form of payment for infrastructure. So the developers, instead of paying dollars to the network or to our validators to keep their chainlets alive, they're paying in Saga tokens. Okay. Right now, it's clocking in about $500 per chainlet per month. But yes, there is a community building aspect to this as well. So we announced our power level over 9,000 airdrop campaign just a week after we launched mainnet. Over 100 tokens and NFTs are going to be airdropped to our stakers. So yes, if you are staking the Saga token, of course, you're going to get exposure to a lot of different gaming and entertainment tokens out there.
Okay, well, fantastic. It's good to have you on. Let's go over to Captain John. Tell us, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, great to be on the panel here. I'm Captain Jaw on Twitter. Jack, if you see me in person, I'm the CEO and co-founder for OneKin Labs. We've been building in the blockchain space for over 5 years, specifically in the gaming sector. We are launching a modular gaming network, and basically, we actually started as publishers ourselves, and it's great to have a number of different chains on here. Our main thesis around basically building out is that the end state of Web3 gaming looks something like thousands of games across potentially hundreds of chains. You heard that everything from L1s, L2s, subnets, all of these different ecosystems that have been being built out. And basically what we seek to do is to provide abstraction solutions and connections for users in order to navigate that end state in a way that doesn't basically require multiple PhDs. So basically we work with right now over 200 games across 15 different protocols that we support. And we're basically going to be building out new distribution channels with them and launching our own L2 that's specifically kind of targeting developers that want to build gaming adjacent applications that want that inherent cross-chain infrastructure kind of built into it. So you can think, reputation systems, matchmaking, all the things that connect us and make gaming great. And then we support basically all of the chains and all of the games basically across Web3 is the goal there.
Fantastic. Yeah, we've got a lot of gaming and gaming platforms and gaming enablers on today's show. So this will be an interesting perspective to hear everything from. In the meantime, let's go ahead and introduce Kadan from who's CTO from Komodo Platform. Why don't you come on, Kadan, and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Hey, Justin. Hey, man. Thanks for having me. So, yeah, I'm heading up the tech with the Komodo platform we launched in 2016. Our core focus is on blockchain interoperability stack. So what we did is basically building like the blockchain Babelfish, if you want to put it like that. So we make like different protocols that are like natively incompatible with each other, understand each other, right? We also, I mean, we initially, or myself, like personally, tapped into this topic like GameFi in around like 2018, in 2019, and I'll pin the message. We've basically implemented the Rogue lender, so the game Rogue, just like on our like blockchain, more like as a proof of concept. So gameplay was basically, stored on chain. You had this provably fair gaming. All your data and information was stored into an NFT, and you could afterwards basically trade that NFT, exchange it, swap it through the interoperability stack that we've built, right? Like it is like atomic swap, cross protocol and cross chain atomic swap based technology. And we issued like the first fully automated cross protocol swap in 2013. 2014 went online with the first iteration. So as of today, it's a third generation technology stack. And yeah, I'm excited to be here and like to, listening to like all the GameFi projects, as I believe it's a great thing, right? Like this kind of like playful integration, and pushing mainstream adoption with means of fun. And I think after all, this is going to like disrupt the various like socioeconomic structures, right? If you look like at Southeast Asia, people earning more with GameFi than the average worker, like in the worker class. So amazing stuff. And yeah, thanks again for having me.
Right on. Yeah, good to have you. Will T, I'll come back over to you because I see you just jumped on. But let me go ahead back over to my friends at Decentraland. Decentraland, welcome back to talking about GameFi with me. Good to have you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me join. Happy to be here again. For anyone that is not familiar, hi, I'm Kim. I'm the head of partnerships and marketing at Decentraland. We are a virtual social world. Anyone can jump in. We are desktop based, so no headsets, no apps required. So if you haven't come in, we'd love to see you. We were joining today to talk a little bit more about gaming, obviously. We have our first ever Game Expo happening June 26th through 29th. And I can drop a link in the comments if that's okay with you, Justin, for anyone that's interested in learning more about the event.
Yeah, please do. Go ahead and put a pin post. I mean, and really, anyone who has anything going on, you're welcome to do that. I think it's just more convenient for listeners. They hear about your project, they want to know more about it. Of course, the other thing you can do, folks, is just follow all these people, which generally I do every time I have a panel. That way I've got tons of Web3 and blockchain related content on my feed, particularly GameFi, which is particularly close to my heart. But it's great to have you back, Kim. It's great to have Decentraland back. Great project. Let's go over to Ken Anderson. Ken, why don't you come on and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, perfect. Can you hear me okay? I'm using
can.
my desktop stuff, so I'm always worried on Twitter Spaces with desktop. So
there is always reason to worry on Twitter Spaces. At this
That's
very
right.
moment, someone's trying to get on. It happens. The Twitter gods seem to pick out at least one guest to not allow on my Spaces every show. So
That's
at least it's not you.
thank goodness, not this time anyway. So I'm with Tashi. Our background is quite interesting. We're made up of a bunch of crypto degens who decided let's go make a difference in the Web2 gaming space. So we built our own consensus engine based off best of breed algorithms out there, but we've optimized the crap out of it. And we use gaming as our forcing function. So we created what was called a new model of multiplayer gaming called mesh multiplayer gaming. I demonstrated last August at DevCon and then at multiple Unity dev conferences. Actual video games running on top of our consensus engine real time with less than 30 milliseconds of latency. And in November, we hit a milestone. We were able to get up to about.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. And in November, we hit a milestone. We hit up over 1 million transactions per second on a network. But our focus is really on how do we take this consensus engine and add real value to the Web2 space. And once we get in there in the Web2 space, how do we tie that back into the Web3 space? So a lot of what we're dealing with right now is spinning up individual game sessions that are each themselves their own. You can think of them as their own private little networks, but they operate at such a speed and scale that you get fairness and provability throughout your game in your game session. And then we can roll that back into any public network through connectors, through smart contracts, through bridges and stuff like that. But our focus is really, we're like deep infrastructure and we're using gaming as the forcing function for that.
So do you think of it the same way that game devs think of instances? Because
Yep.
I'm a dev on an MMO for PC that's supposed to launch the end of this year, the beginning of next year, and being able to have 50 players and 100 mobs on an instance, for example, is a real accomplishment in the world that I'm working in. Is that kind of how you frame it for yourself as well?
Yep. So we've tested successfully up to 64 players in an instance in a session. We call it a mesh network. And so in that game scenario, you're getting less than 100 milliseconds at 64 players. At about 16 players, you're getting less than 50 milliseconds of latency on each game message. And so if you think about it from a gamer's perspective, that's really, really low, allows you to have near real time engagement with other players with a consensus engine. So in other words, no servers, no leaders, no host client configurations. It's strictly peer-to-peer with none of that extra infrastructure or egress cost.
Right, right. At the same time, we have so many infrastructure people on today. We're going to have a deep discussion on what those challenges are. Let me go over to Will T. Will, come on and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. Thanks for the invite.
Glad to have you.
Yeah, thank you. New to this particular focus. I'm a blockchain educator and a former gamer at heart, always will be. But I'm just curious to learn here in this space what these amazing, brilliant minds are building and how we plan to bring the early majority cohort into Web3. So thanks for having me.
Okay, well, fantastic. Guys, so I titled this show optimistically, as I always do, a GameFi summer, because the kinds of discussions that I want to have, I want to be able to speak to a big audience and let them know all about some launch games that they can get on board with. Right now, we've got enablement platforms. So let's talk about that a little bit. One thing that was brought up just a couple of days ago as being a big stumbling block toward like mass adoption of GameFi. And the reason why that's important, folks, is because if you take bets on like what it is that's going to bring people into the space, of course, it's not, you can't overlook paytech because obviously making payments and so forth is the number one function of crypto. But beyond somebody coming out with a better replacement for PayPal driving adoption or the ETFs driving adoption, GameFi is really kind of one of the best places, I would think, where it can bring people, normies, people from outside the space, into our increasingly open space. What do you think it will take? I'll go to you, Scale, first. What do you think it will take to get people on board? Like, what's the holdup right now? There's such, I speak to the gaming audience almost as much as I speak to the crypto audience, and boy, they're not friendly toward blockchain in general. Like in my opinion, I mean, I'm old, so maybe I'm looking at like Sims 4 groups and that sort of thing. So maybe I'm looking at old games. So maybe my sample is a little skewed. But you see a lot of pushback on NFTs. They're afraid that it's going to turn into a new form of pay to play. What is it that we have to address to get the billions of users that are potentially out there from mainstream gaming into Web3 gaming?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'll start it off, and I think the last bull run, the PFP, while was a blast for everybody involved, I think did some long-term damage to a lot of the credibility of the Web3 space. I'm sure everybody here has friends and multiple friends that said, "Oh, well, I can just like right click and save it, and now I own an NFT too." And so, kind of not really understanding the tech, not trying to get into the tech. Um, how I think we can get the millions and the billions of gamers is the friction points that currently exist. There's this fear around Web3, like a fear of any new technology because they don't understand it. And if you don't understand it, you're not going to do it. And so, needing to download a wallet, needing to buy something from an exchange, the idea, the concept of a bridge is scary. And all
Right.
of these new technology things, aspects are just scary. So if we can do this, and I've heard a few different people talk about like, the no gas fee aspect and not having gas fees with scale and the way it's set up, we're bringing, dozens of games on every week, launching new projects on a weekly basis. And they're all doing it with the custodial wallet built into the background, and the way that Scale's infrastructure is set up, where you're paying like almost like a decentralized blockchain as a service. The developers have a flat monthly fee they're paying into the chain, and then they're getting access to onboard, whether that's one user performing one transaction a month or 100 million users performing 100 million transactions a month. You're still paying the same flat monthly fee for access to a chain within the Scale ecosystem. And then it comes down to building fun games that people want to play, taking away, the play to earn early crypto games that just aren't fun, but you grind at to earn,
Right. Right.
and building out these more fun projects where you can still have the play to earn mechanisms and still have all of the beauty and the benefits of blockchain based games. But they're fun, right? People want to play fun games at the end of the day. And we're seeing it now. The quality of projects is just increasing at such a rapid pace that adoption is going to take place. I'm a firm, yeah. And I don't know about you, Justin. I'm a firm believer that technology wins at the end of the day. It always has. I think it always will.
Sure.
It's just a matter of how long that's going to take. And I think, a lot of the folks up here are working to accelerate the pace at which that winning takes hold.
Right, definitely. And I mean, I agree with you that the quality of the games themselves is getting better. A couple of years ago, folks, if I was interviewing a GameFi project, half the time I'm talking to someone who doesn't necessarily have any game development experience, and was talking to me more about tokenomics. Now we're talking about actual games, and that is a good step forward. Going over to you, Gyro. What do you think? It seems like GameFi should be the tip of the spear in terms of leading to adoption for people who are not currently in the space. It hasn't been the case up till now. What do we need to do to address that?
I think it's less about GameFi and more about just like what the actual things these decentralized and Web3 focused tools can offer, right? I think there's a bit of a fallacy about the idea of moving people over from Web2 to Web3 because they're kind of just like backends, they're infrastructures. You don't move people like players between an AWS server and a Google server, or move players between a Unity game engine and an Unreal game engine, right? Like you offer them just better stuff that they can do. And so I think it's much more about like powering these rich experiences that Web3 things can do, things that are like automation, provability, payments and monetization systems. I think those are really cool, and it's more about meeting them where they're at. It's kind of what like the approach that I've been taking with the games that I make, as well as with PlayFi, is let's build cool experiences on top of the games people already love. Let's not try to put Counter-Strike on the blockchain. Let's make automatically reporting tournaments that use blockchain technologies to accept payment, that use AI and these decentralized processing services to like validate the results and to like create zero knowledge proofs that people can look at and say like, yes, this verifiably happened. And then it's kind of invisible to the players, right? That doesn't really matter to the end user because they just come in, they sign up for a tournament, they put in their $10. If they win, they get their $100. They don't care about the back end. And so I think often there's this like conflicts where we're like, let's just prove to these Web2 gamers that Web3 is good enough. When I think at the end of the day, they're just interested in like what's the best experience, whether it's gameplay or like these cool features on top. And I think we need to focus on those features more.
Right, definitely. I mean, that's an interesting way to frame it. Will T, do you confer? Do you concur? What do you think the biggest holdup is? I mean, obviously, some people are just kind of skeeved out by crypto in general. They don't have a digital wallet. They're not particularly interested in getting one. And let's face it, the big publishers out there, the EAs of the world, have not made this any easier for us, and since they have already made a pseudoscience out of squeezing players for as much money as they possibly can, you can see how players might get shifty about a new pay rail that they have to deal with.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question because, recently in, let's say, the last week or so, I was involved in a conversation, kind of like along the same vein that Gyro brought up as well, right? And that's that the end user doesn't care what's under the hood of the car, just that the car works and it gets them from A to B, right? But then the other camp is, well, we shouldn't be masking or camouflaging the technology because the technology is so beautiful. We should be exposing it for what it is. Now, in our ecosystem that we've developed in terms of blockchain education, right? It's more about presenting the value proposition to what the overall technology can accomplish and doing it at a very basic level that everybody can understand, and then start those building blocks progressing towards more intermediate and advanced concepts. So I feel if somebody has the aspirations to learn about the technology, sure, we should be able to offer them those opportunities. If somebody just wants to know that it works and that it works effectively and that they can have a more effective gaming experience and probably a more robust gaming experience, then I'm in that camp as well. So I feel at the end of the day, the end result is the same, and the path to getting there is going to be very, 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 there be ver, 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 there be ver,